Okay, so we're going to be showing you how to make a mask today for the Popo award that we're going to be doing. And you don't have to use this pattern because they're not specific, but this is the basic one that everybody's been using, and we've made these for the police department and for some medical offices with a filter inside, but we're not going to make a liner with these. So we're starting off with 2 pieces of elastic that are 7 inches long. If you're doing ties, it'll just be about you'll need 4 ties, about 18 inches long. We're starting off with a piece of pipe cleaner for the nose piece to tighten it. 2 pieces of fabric. The front of the front is 10 inches long, 8 inches deep. The back is an 8-inch square. So we're going to start off with our right sides together and center those like so. And then what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be stitching along the top and the bottom to sew them together. Okay, so we're going to sew across the top, just tack it just a little. I'm using a 5/8 inch seam, but like I say, it gives you enough room to sew your nose piece on. Clip our threads. That was a long thread. And then the other side as well. Okay, so we've stitched the bottom seam and the top seam. Now we're going to attach our nose piece. So I'm using a 3-inch piece of pipe cleaner. You can use floral wire too, but the floral wire is a little bit on the raw side on the edges, so I bend them, but this works better if you can find pipe cleaners. So we're going to center that over I've marked the fabric in the center. I'm going to center that over here. We're going to change to a zigzag stitch, and then we're going to zigzag that down as soon as I can tuck my threads out of the way. And here I go a little bit slower because I don't want to hit that wire with my needle. Tack it just a little bit so it's good and solid. Okay, so that's done. And now we're going to turn it inside, or right sides out. And I'm going to the ironing board to make our pleats. Okay, so I'm just taking a hot steam iron and I'm just ready? And I'm pressing and just pressing just so I can get to the edges. And then I'm turning it, and this doesn't have to be perfect, so don't stress over it because it's not going to be perfect. So now there's my right side and my wrong side, and here's my top. This is where the wire is. So now we're going to make our pleats now that this is nice and pressed flat. So the pleats should be about 1/2 inch in depth. So about like that, and then you're going to fold it up. And I just pin it in place on my ironing board until I've made sure they're fairly even. It's recommended that you make at least 3 pleats for fit purposes, and 1/2 inch deep. Okay, I've made my 3 pleats, and they're not perfect, and they don't necessarily have to be. And then I press them down nice and tight. When you're finished here, this should be about 3.5 inches. Whoops, used the wrong side. 3.5 inches. So that's good. We're going to unpin them, and we're going to turn it over to the wrong side of the fabric. Give it one last press, turn it over. press it so you got a nice tight seal. Then we're just going to take these edges, we're going to fold them over once and twice. Now you can use a pin here if you desire to hold it. That side was a little narrower. And this one's going to be once and twice. Ouch. Just burned myself. Don't do that. These steam irons can get really hot. Okay, now we're getting ready to sew our pieces of elastic or our ties on. And you can pin this if you don't feel like you're skilled enough to hold it down. That can be tricky sometimes. So, okay, I'm starting at the top of the mask on the back side, holding my pleat down. Okay, now I'm going to be inserting the elastic or the tie at an angle from like this, so that when you stitch, you're going to be able to stitch it here on this side and this side as well. So we're going to go, whoop, first turn it to straight stitch. That would be good. Okay. And I tack that. And then we're going to come down the side. And when I get about halfway down the side, I'm going to stop and bring my elastic to the bottom and tuck it in. So I'm going to catch it on this side and the bottom as well. And then I'm just going to back stitch it and back stitch it one more time, and then come off, tack it, and we're done with that side. And we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay, so we have this all stitched up on both sides now. Not straight, you guys will do better, but and then you're ready to go. And now this is, now I press these and steam them, and they're good to go. So this is the top. So what you'll do, the instructions to put them on, is to slip them over your ear, pull the bottom down and the top up, and you should have enough fabric to cover your chin well. And then the ties, you just pinch to your nose and you're good to go. Now it seems like you got a little flaps here, but it's really tight enough to breathe and still keep you safe. And the further it can come down under your chin, the better. So you may want to, this doesn't fit everyone, but it's the best general rule. If you're making them for children or smaller faces, and then you'll have to adjust, but that's where the ties work better than the elastic, because the elastic is fixed. So that's what we're going to be making. Thank you.